Hey guys, okay, welcome to I think this is round 4 of the Preppers versus Homesteaders debacle, and I've been getting some heat from some of the people that have answered questions more recently. I haven't gotten to them yet, so I need to start giving some more shout outs to all these great homesteading channels out there. So if I haven't gotten to you yet, be patient, grasshopper, I'll get to you. Okay, so where we left off, we had questions that were asked by Ozark Off-Grid family of Permaculture Homestead. I believe that was the order. And the questions that they were asked is, why did you go from prepper to homesteader? And what value do you see being a homesteader versus a prepper? And I'm sorry if we have a little fan noise, but for us Alaskans, it's really hot. It's 87 degrees up here today. And I don't have air conditioning, but I do have a fan, so I'm running it. So bear with me, please. So the first question, why did you go from prepper to homesteader? For me, you know, that's easy. I didn't. I've never really been a prepper. I'm not in a position of, you know, that I'm afraid of collapse of the government or what have you. I will admit that I'm getting more and more concerned as things develop, but right now, you know, I'm not thinking that I need to go run and live in some cabin in the woods. Yeah, well, I guess I do live in some cabin in the woods. Touch base on something real quickly. I'm going to interrupt myself. Just to give you an idea how remote I am. If I go that way, which is east, it's 180 miles to the first road. Sounds like a long ways away, isn't it? 180 miles that way, all wilderness. Nothing but trees and forests and woods. If I go that way, which is west, I have to go about 3 miles down my road to the Parks Highway, which is the main road, runs north and south here in Alaska. Cross over it, and then it's 1,000 miles to the coast without a single road. That's how remote where I live is, folks. Okay? I've got 80 acres here. Most of my neighbors have similar size properties, you know, 40s, 60s, 80s. And it's a lot of big wilderness, which is why it's absolutely normal for us to have, you know, foxes and bears, black bears, grizzly bears, foxes, coyotes, wolves. All of that is here, and it's just something that you learn to deal with your homestead. So I guess I didn't intentionally come up here as a prepper, but you know, this would be an ideal location for a prepper. And it is for sale, by the way, should anybody out there want to come up here and take over Grandpa's farm and be a peony farmer and allow me to get my money out of this property so I can go live near my grandsons in Ohio. So anyhow, so to answer that question, had you go from being a prepper to a homesteader? I'm not. Fact is, I'm not really even a homesteader. I'm a family farmer. I've kind of skipped the whole, to me a homestead is sort of like a beginner. I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe that's not the right way. Go on, Lily, if you want to go in there. I don't know if that's really the right way to put that. I'm sure that's going to offend a lot of people here. But it seems to me as a progression goes from being a prepper to a homesteader, and then from the homestead, you know, you kind of keep expanding and growing and developing until you become the family farm. I think there's a real gray area that separates homestead from family farm. I think prepper to homestead, that's an easy definition. You know, preppers tend to be, I'm sorry guys, more fear-based. They're concerned about, you know, collapse and dealing with the end of whatever, and the stuff hits the fan scenarios. Homesteaders, I think, are just preparing for themselves, taking better care of themselves and their food. I think once you step up to the family farm level, you know, you're buying in and accepting that you're into this whole hog, pardon the pun, and you know, you're going to be going ahead and doing this full time. So let me skip to the second question, because I got a lot to do in a very short video. What value do you see being a homesteader versus a prepper? I think I've covered that. I think preppers tend to just like to store stuff and have stuff in reserve for if something happens. I think homesteaders tend to not just think about, you know, putting some stuff back in supplies, but have some supplies on the hoof and start learning some of the skills necessary for really long-term scenarios, okay? Okay, so that was the questions at Permaculture Homestead, great channel, check them out, asked of the Pratt family farm. Oh no, I'm sorry, now we're going to that. We're going from Permaculture Homestead to the questions asked of the Pratt family farm. And here's what was asked of the Pratt family farm, I think, if I have this in order. Maybe I don't, but these are some of the questions people have been asking. How can you be more preparedness minded? I don't know if you could become more preparedness minded. I think if you're a prepper, if that's what that's referring to, I mean, what are you saying? How do you need to be more I don't know, paranoid? To be more preparedness minded, though, you know, if you're looking at it from the homestead standpoint, I think it's a matter of how do I be more prepared minded? What should I be thinking about? What should I be planning on for the next step? And I think that's the generation of getting into more animals, learning more about animal husbandry, starting to think about replacing your animals, starting to think about being self-sustaining, where you can actually grow the food to feed your animals. That's the next step. Prepping, you know, you're just planning for the loss of everything. Homesteading, I guess for a better definition, is, you know, you're starting to raise some animals, you're planting your own vegetable garden. Family farm, you're getting to the point where you're saying, you know, I need to raise the food to feed my animals so I can feed myself. And you're including the entire ecosystem, whereas the homesteader, I still think, is, you know, they're running out to the feed store and buying their feed, and they're going to the grocery store and buying their staples, as opposed to being able to have them themselves. Okay. Second question that was asked in this round was, what got you interested in homesteading? What got me interested in homesteading? Well, we've asked this, kind of an issue. It seems like a lot of these folks are asking the same question over and over again in different verbiage. What got me into the homesteading family farm concept was my sister Terry, with her allergy to eggs, started me down a road of learning more and more and more about the problems that we're faced with, what people are eating, and the threats to our food systems in the world. You know, criminals like Monsanto and what's going on with that area. By the way, I've got a video coming out just about that, should be up pretty soon. So I think that's what started me, and probably most people, down this road. Okay, so Pratt Family Farm asked those questions of Road to the Farm, I believe. Mike and Jetty at Pratt Family Farm. Great folks, check them out. And so now we go to the next set of questions, which Road to the Farm was either asked or asking. I don't remember. I'll have to check my notes. What is the silliest thing you have done in the prepping homesteading lifestyle? The silliest thing that I've done. Well, coming up here to Alaska and assuming that I was going to be able to farm the same way I was able to farm in Ohio. That was silly, almost beyond silly, almost stupid. You know, of course I have to relearn everything. Of course I have to. One of the things I'm looking forward to about going back to Ohio is I kind of know what I'm doing there. Short, but very intensive growing season up here. And that was a whole new learning curve for me. So, and then again, the same question over again. What's the best choice you have made that benefited the homesteading lifestyle? Wow, the best choice that I made that benefited me as a homesteader, family farmer thing, was investing in a tractor and equipment. Without a doubt, it has made my life a whole lot easier. Now, I recently sold my tractor and equipment in preparation for getting out of here and moving to Ohio. So I don't have any of my equipment. I wish I did. I sold it way too fast. I need it for keeping the property maintained and cleaned up for sale. But yeah, having a good tractor and equipment on hand. You know, I'm an advocate for doing it myself, and I like my horses, my draft horses. I've spent a lot of time in harness and done it the old way, and that's great. You know, there's a lot of advantage, but like I said, I don't believe in that kind of prepper mentality. I think fuel is something that we're going to have an abundance of for the rest of my lifetime anyway. And so investing in a new tractor will be something I'll want to do very quickly once I get established in Ohio. So now we're coming down, I think it was Road to the Farm, asked questions of my homestead project. If I'm reading this correctly. Yes, Road to the Farm asked questions of my homestead project. And those questions were, and that's my homestead project there, that's them answering it. I'm going to get to them in yet another video later on. How does a frugal lifestyle fit in with homesteading? And I think they are the same thing. I mean, of course, homesteaders are going to be frugal. I milk my cows so I can make my own butter and my own cheese. Now, truth of the matter is, if you look at the economics of some of the decisions we make, the factories have in fact made it cost effective, cheaper in first dollars for us just to go to the store and buy butter and buy eggs and buy meats. And that's fine if you want to avail yourself of that kind of first dollar mentality. I think of second and third dollar mentality. Yeah, I can go and I can buy those Monsanto products, the prepackaged corn chips and any wheat, any baked good, bread, cakes, whatever, cupcakes, anything, toast, any of those items. If I buy them off the farm, then I'm exposing myself to the poisons and the chemicals and the preservatives and all the stuff that's out there in the food system. And so then I'm having to pay even more money later on in my reduced, diminished capacity and diminished health. So I think I'm much better off going out and spending my second dollar up front and buying the wherewithal to raise good quality food here at home, or learn a good farmer, find a good farmer in your area that is utilizing good safe practices and buying from him. It's another idea. But I'd rather do that and save and have the improved health and well-being. And certainly, nice thing about being on the farm is going out and getting the exercise and the fresh air and enjoying the joy of the animals and stuff. And then the last question was, what was the catalyst of homesteading? And for me, I said the catalyst for me was my sister. It's the same kind of question over and over again. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna do a video coming up pretty soon with a little collage and some music set to the background, a little on the farm collage of the critters and all that with music set to it. When I grew up in college, Ohio University, Athens, Ohio, go Bucks. I got really kind of hung out a lot in bars. I was a bartender and a bar manager. I wasn't just in there drinking, although I certainly did my fair share. And I got to know a lot of the bands then, and there was a band that was very popular back then, guys I really liked. It was the new Vinton County Frog Wompers Marching, Singing, Strumming, and Plucking Society. And they were a charismatic group, and if you get online and you search the new Vinton County Frog Wompers, or for that matter, I think if you just go ahead and search the term Frog Womper, all one word, you'll find them. Now, on some of our live streams, I made some comments. Somebody had brought up toads or frogs, and I made a comment about frog wompers, and it kind of got out of hand. But I've got a song for you, and since I know a lot of kids watch this, and I know my grandsons watch this, it's a song that the Frog Wompers would perform at every one of their concerts. So it goes like this, if I can remember the words. How about them toadsuckers? Ain't they sappy? Sucking them toads all shore, make them happy. Hug a mug of toadsuckers way down south. Sticking them sucky toads in zay mouth. I be a toadsucker, knowing a duck it. You just find an old toad and you rear back and suck it. Folks, you have a good day. Bye.